Thank you all for joining me for another episode of Cop Stories. I appreciate everyone who's been reaching out to me in reference to me appearing on Netflix, the A&E channel, Stars. I just appreciate it all. Trust me. And with that, I just got word that the Dateline with Dennis Murphy episode that I'm going to be on, that's going to be coming up soon in March after the Olympics, and also the ID's channel, American Detective with Joe Kinder. That's going to be coming out real soon. I was just notified. So I'm looking forward to it. But right here, right now, those who have been reaching out, sending little donations, I appreciate you. And also those who've been trying to give me advice. You should wear a suit. You should do this. You should do that. Get sponsors, do this, do that. I appreciate everybody reaching out. It's just me sitting in a chair telling some stories. Some may like them, some may not like them. I'm just being me. But until then, we're going to get rocking and rolling with another episode of Cop Stories. This is episode 18 by Safe House Films, DC. Check out the website, .com. Let's rock and roll. I just love doing this. Action. As a homicide detective, you are as strong as your word. And in the community, if your word is not strong, if your word is not your bond, you might as well just go do something else. Where do I start? Well, this story is focused on community policing. Community policing is major, okay? Those who know me for years, I've always been in the community, coaching youth sports before I joined the department, while on the department, after the department. And it was important that I knew the community, not just uptown DC. I knew people in Southwest, Northeast, Southeast, because I've been all over the city throughout the course of my life here. And you meet a lot of people, and it comes into play when you're in law enforcement. Regardless of what side of the fence you're on with it, community policing comes into play. This story is a prime example of why I say that. I believe it was in 2014, could have been 2015, I believe it was 2014. I get a call from a young lady who I've been knowing since she was a young girl. And she called me and told me her son was over at DC jail. Now, I already knew that he had his arm in a sling from, I don't know if it was surgery or I don't know what the cause was, but I knew his arm was in a sling because I've seen him in the community. But she told me he was currently arrested over at DC jail. And she was a little worried because, not just because he's at a disadvantage, is that she know he did not commit the offense that he's being charged with. I'm like, okay, I receive calls like this all the time. I look into it, and if the person is right, they're right. If they're wrong, they're wrong. I let them know. So in this situation, I didn't know anything about the crime. I didn't know anything. But I started looking into the matter a little deeper because the mom was really concerned. And one thing I can say is that a lot of the parents that I know, if their child is accused of something, and if the child is involved in something, a lot of them don't contact me. But when they do contact me, I know something gotta be wrong, okay? Because they know I play fair. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I play fair. Regardless of which way it goes, I play fair. So in this situation, I went to the detective who's investigating the case. Younger detective, much younger than I am. I don't know how long he's had on, but he's pretty young. And I said, I heard you investigating the case up on Georgia Avenue, I believe up against the walls clothing store. I can't remember if it was a robbery or theft. I don't remember what the crime was, but whatever it was, this kid, this young man I'm talking about, is being held over DC jail. And he said, yeah, I got the case. I was able to get 3 suspects identified through the video camera of the crime. And I'm like, oh wow. I said, how did you do that? I said, you have some good witnesses in the case? He said, nah, I saw the video footage, and it's most definitely the guys who I have the warrants for. As a matter of fact, I have two warrants for two of them, and I'm out looking for them now. I said, oh, okay, cool. I said, let me see what you got. So read the paperwork. I saw the names of the first person that's over DC jail. That's going to be, just say, number A. I looked at the name of number B, looked at the name of number C. Now, the name of number B, I don't want to use name, I'm just going to use alphabets. I looked at this name, and I'm like, I didn't say anything to the detective yet, but I'm like, how did this dude, I'm saying to myself, how did this person commit this crime? And to my understanding, this person is in prison. That's just me. I haven't confirmed it yet. And then the other person, I know him well, and I know these three guys are friends. A, B, and C are friends. But I left C alone, but I knew B, to my knowledge, was either in prison currently or maybe just got out. I don't know. But A is over DC jail. Now, keep in mind, the person who's over DC jail is about 6 feet, 6'1". The other two a little shorter. The person I'm classifying as B is about 5, maybe 5'8". Maybe the other person 5'C", maybe 5'6", 5'7". Both of them in a range of 5'7" to 5'9". So we have that clear. Now, as a detective, to let me view what he viewed in order for him to make these findings. He didn't have to, but he did. I looked at the videotape. I'm staring at it. I'm looking at it. Looking at it. I see the three people coming to the store. I'm looking at it. Didn't see the crime, but this is the footage. I'm looking at it, and then the three people, they leave. So I said, you have any more tape for me to look at? He said, no, that's it right there. I'm like, well, where are the guys who you just mentioned in these affidavits? I don't see them. He said, they're right there. So he backed the videotape up, and he froze the frame. He did the freeze frame. I'm looking at it, I'm like, again, I'm not trying to be, like I'm better than him or above him. I'm just being human there. I'm like, where are they? He said, they're right there. I said, detective, these are not the young men that's on this paperwork here. None of them is the young man you have sitting over DC jail. The other two, or any of the three, are not the other two who you have on affidavits. No, this is not them. He said, it is them. I said, trust me. I've been knowing the three boys who you're looking for, you're dealing with, who you think this is. I've been knowing them since they were babies, since birth. Because I knew their mothers when they were little girls. This is not them. So he was like, it is. I'm like, it's not. I say, number one, this is how I broke it down to him. The young man you have over at the jail is 6 feet, 6'1". His arm is in a sling. He interrupted me and said, well, he could have took that off. I said, yeah, true. I said, but I saw him with it on like last week. His arm is messed up. I said, he's 6 feet to 6'1". I said, no one in your video is 6 feet to 6'1". I said, you can tell because the arm rail that the kid is holding on is like, it could be to my side. I said, you can look at them, tell by the door, tell by the arm rail, all that stuff. This guy's no taller than 5'6", 5'7". As a matter of fact, all three of them about the same height. So number one, height-wise is not the young man you have over DC jail, okay? Number two, I know just from knowledge, but I'm going to research it in a few minutes. I know from knowledge that this person, number B, he should be in prison on some gun charges, I believe, to my understanding. So Nan's face is starting to change. I said, I'm serious. I say, go run it through. Check it out. Run the BOP information. It's done. Boom. He's in some joint out in Kansas, wherever that is, somewhere. So that's strike two. You don't even need to go to number three, because I went through all of the photo, the digital image that he has right there. I said, these are not the young men you're looking at. I said, I ain't mean to bust your bubble, but I'm only coming here because, I got a call from my mom and she was, telling me that her son is not involved in what she's charged with. And if this is your evidence, this video footage, I'm telling you, it's not them. I'm looking at the faces of the people on this camera, and I know these young boys, they were babies. It's not them. I said, I'm not trying to interfere with your investigation, but it's not them. So he said, well, is it? Well, I said, look, and I explained to him, don't be too proud that you made a mistake. Don't be too proud. I'm telling you, you made a mistake. All you got to do is talk to your attorney, whoever it is you're dealing with. Just clear this stuff up, man. I'm telling you, it's not them by no means. And he confirmed that B is in prison. He confirmed that. And now he's thinking, and now he understands what I'm saying about the hype thing. It's not this guy. I said, man, you can take a photograph. You can take the 3 guys who I know photographs and paste it beside the photographs of the dudes on the camera, and you can see it's not even them. A dude, half an eye can tell you it's not them. I'm not trying to be funny. The point I'm trying to make is you can look at the footage and tell it's not them. And I was trying to explain to him, it's very important. You got to know your community. You can't assume. Any detective, anyone in law enforcement could tell you, you cannot make cases on assumptions. Facts. If you don't have the facts, if you don't know for sure, leave it alone until you can know for sure. Okay? But in this situation, it was wrong. So I leaves him. I go to his attorney's office. I talk to his attorney. I say, look, this is not the right young man who you all are looking at. The one sent him to DC jail. You got to get him released immediately because it's not him. The prosecutor didn't know who I was. Brought another prosecutor in who was very familiar with it. And this prosecutor told the prosecutor, yes, this is Mitch Credle. He's very familiar with this entire neighborhood. He know all of these kids backwards. He been knowing most of the kids since they were born. And trust and believe, if you say it's not them, it's not them. So what I did was I even told her, look, you got an affidavit for a young man who's sitting in a prison in I believe it was Kansas, and here it is, this offense just occurred, and you all saying he committed it? No one checked the BOP information to see if this dude was in or out? So she looked it up. I'm correct. The detective felt bad, there's no doubt about it. I wasn't trying to step on no toes, wasn't trying to hurt no feelings. I was just trying to help his case, because one of the worst things in the world is to arrest the wrong person. And you don't want someone sitting over at the DC jail or any jail if they did not commit a crime. And, I talked to the detective. I wasn't trying to hurt his feelings. I was just being honest, man. You must know your community when you're going to make decisions like this, when you're going to make the ID like this, when you're saying this is that person, man, you have to live with that. Okay? You have to live with that, and you have the wrong kid sitting over DC jail right now. What if something happened to him? His arm is all caught up in a sling, and man, get that dude out of jail, man. He's not the one. So they end up, correcting everything. They dismissed the charges, got the young man out. I don't know what happened moving forward, but this is just a prime example of how I always preach. When you're involved in law enforcement, when you're patrolling a community, when you're in the community, when you're making cases in the community, you have to know your community. You're not going to know everyone, but it doesn't hurt to know as many as you can. I'm just being honest with you. I'm keeping it real. Hopefully this little bit of, what I just, explained will help someone moving forward. Peace. Have a great day. Till next episode, I'm out of here.